What goes down must come back up. See what I did there? We are entering a whole new zodiac season here on November 21st when the sun leaves the passionate, intense, introspective, and emotional powerhouse sign of Scorpio and into the hot air balloon that's going to take us into Sagittarius season. And I like the hot air balloon analogy because it's really, this shift is going to be something that we're all going to feel. We're all going to feel a sense of lifting and elevation because Sagittarius season, at least here in the States where I live, it is a time of celebration. It is true to the Jupiterian tone, because Jupiter rules Sag, of celebration and excess and also gratitude. So we're always gonna feel that shift. And one of my teachers, when I was baby astrologer, always compared this shift to the party after the funeral, because it's true. Like after you go through this intense period of mourning and contemplation and being in your feelings and this just like mourning, this period of mourning, which can certainly feel like the intensity of Scorpio season, the emotional intensity of Scorpio season. And then you make your peace and you have the ceremony, and then there's a celebration of life. And, usually there's alcohol going around and cakes and cookies, and you kind of get into this other side of celebrating and honoring. And there's a lightness that can come from that. So I love that analogy, and I think that we're really going to feel that. We're coming out of the time of year where the veil is so thin. So we are very close to our dead during Scorpio season. We are very close to even just like our shadows and the skeletons in our closet. Like those things are a little bit more prominent during such a time of year. So this shift into Sagittarius season, we're going to get that lift. We're going to just elevate because, it's Sagittarius season really reminds me of Ecclesiastes from the Bible, which is basically like eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow may never come. And it's that reminder, it's that contrast from Scorpio season where we know how complex and how intense things can get in our human condition. And so Sagittarius knows that we're coming from that. And it's like, let's just party. Let's just freaking party. Why not? Why not put a ton of lights and balloon ornaments on our lawn, eat a ton of butter cookies, drink a lot of boozy Christmas beer, and let's just celebrate for a month straight. Let's just celebrate a month straight. It doesn't matter what denomination we are celebrating, like we're getting invited to all the parties. So Sagittarius season really brings that sense of celebratory, and it's also a philosophical sign too. So Sagittarius definitely has that going on as well. Sagittarius is a seeker, wants to know. There's an exuberance, there's a liveliness, a confidence that comes with this sign. So we're all going to be feeling it when the sun is in this territory. And speaking of gratitude, so let's talk about this holiday known as Thanksgiving. So here in the United States, we celebrate a holiday known as Thanksgiving. There's been an especially higher amount of critique over this holiday and the origin story. It's extremely whitewashed. We know that. And that's not why I have a bone to pick with Thanksgiving. I actually, now that I have this new astrological perspective on Thanksgiving, I love the holiday so much more because it's my opinion that this country was founded by occultists. And I think that Thanksgiving is and always was a holiday centered around the worship of Zeus, centered around the worship of Jupiter. And here's why. Okay. Jupiter rules the number 4. Jupiter also rules the day of the week, Thursday. Thanksgiving always falls on the 4th Thursday of the month of November, ensuring that it falls on the first Thursday of Sagittarius season. Jupiter, or Zeus, is the ruler of Sagittarius. Next, this is a holiday where we literally give thanks, and we are encouraged to eat beyond a level that we normally do. We're encouraged to go to excess. We are celebrating the bounty of the harvest. And right in the center, and Jupiter rules those things: excess, abundance, prosperity. Like there's just a sense of fullness at the table, usually, provided you like your family. But you are surrounded by people who, I think we often take for granted in today's day and age how big of a blessing it is to have so many people still with us. Back in the day, in the day of the ancients, Jupiter ruled fertility, because it was one of the biggest blessings to raise a child to adulthood, and it was an even bigger blessing to see your grandchildren. So to be sitting at a table surrounded by extended family definitely has to do with Jupiter too. The abundance of having family. And, back in the day, having a big family implied wealth, because usually people worked within the same trade of the family or the family business. And the more hands you had on deck, the bigger the harvest, so to speak. So sitting around celebrating this harvest as we say thank you for the abundant year that we've just had, I think is a ritual to give thanks in hopes that next year is just as bountiful. And also we need to talk about the cornucopia. So the cornucopia, also known as the horn of plenty, was the basically baby bottle that fed baby Zeus as an infant. So Zeus is often depicted with the cornucopia, and it's also, in my view, extremely phallic, especially with the fruits spilling forth from it. I think that this is an allegory for how prolific Zeus was in terms of sowing his wild oats across Mount Olympus and beyond. Looking at the Greek lineages, Zeus fathered a ton of children. And so this idea of abundance and fertility is inherent in this holiday too. I think that it is a Jupiter worship ritual, and that's at least how I'm going to look at it for the rest of my life. I'm going to see that cornucopia on the table, and I'm going to laugh a little inside. Sagittarius season is exciting. We basically, to sum up a little bit about what we have going forward during Sagittarius season, is of course we're still in eclipse season. We have our last eclipse coming up in Sagittarius. We're going to talk about that in a couple weeks, or in about a week probably. And also, what else do we have going on? We have a beautiful love potion cooking up around the end of the month going into December. Beautiful love potion. Can't wait to share more about that with you. And the other thing that we have going on at the tail end of Sag season is the beginning of Venus retrograde. But we'll be feeling the lead up to that as Venus already begins to conjoin Pluto next week. So we'll be able to talk about that very soon. But Venus is basically going to be conjunct Pluto for almost an entire month, like the first 3 weeks of almost an entire month. So we'll definitely be feeling it, and we'll be talking more about that very soon. But that's a little bit about Sagittarius season, and I hope it fills your cup. I hope it overfloweth. Counting the blessings. We're into it. Let's get above that hot air balloon. It's going to take us up, and our worries are just going to shrink. Promise. Sag season. All right, take care. Thanks so much for tuning in with me today. For more astrology in your world, you can connect with me on all platforms at Astro Catherine, and for a limited time, you can also book your one-on-one mini eclipse reading, and I look forward to diving in with you.